Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Season 2 of our newly little game, Diet D&D. As always, my name is Will, aka Artificial. I will be your Dungeon Master for this session. With me, I have, as always, our leader of Haphazard Heroics, Daniel,
Hello!
playing, as always, the half-elf rogue, Scaithe. Now, you'll notice we've got this neat little setup this time. We will actually be recording Roll20. Great. Nice little program, good for a lot of tabletop and Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder-esque games. Feel free to check it out, it's neat. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with Season 2. Scaithe, last you left off, you just got back from an adventure. And, well, your next interesting thing was to check out this box that had been mailed to you that basically had an interesting little metallic bird figure in it, and it just basically said, "Help, bring this to me, don't trust anybody."
Right.
But unfortunately, that address was halfway across the world. So you had to go back to the council and figure out how in the world I'm going to get from point A to point B. And they said they'd sort that out, they'll see you tomorrow, be ready to leave. Well, some more exciting news. You've been kind of spending the last week not really doing much, trying to train your new little familiar you just received last adventure.
Yep, quite the little spitfire he is.
Now, I believe you got two Hellhound pups. I believe one was blue and one was green. Did you pick one in particular?
I've got the green guy.
Okay, did you happen to give it a name, or are you not quite there yet?
Not quite there yet.
Okay, no problem. In due time, I'm sure. Well, it's kind of mid-morning. You're out doing some rounds, shopping about, getting a few things, stocking up, trying to finalize some more furniture sales so you can get your headquarters up and going, furniturized and all that. And let's say you just, picked up a bag of apples or, a few little things here and there. You've got a small little bag of groceries with you. And you're heading back from the market, heading back to headquarters. You're walking about and you're down the street. You can see headquarters, but, you're not right anywhere up on it. There's some people kind of walking about the streets as Homestead does, and, well, you notice a figure kind of a familiar-ish looking figure kind of just looks like he's loitering, kind of like a few houses down, but you're going to pass by him. You get a few more steps and you realize that this looks like another one of those investors you kicked out of your place last adventure. It's just this very royal-looking cloaked person, but they're wearing this really weird face-hugging smiley mask. And it's just kind of got its arms folded and kind of just leaning back against a house. It's not looking in your direction, but you're pretty sure it's hanging close to around the headquarters, but it's not right in front of the headquarters, actually.
I want to see if I can't, go around the buildings to find a different way.
Alright. From the way the headquarters is set up, as our viewers have seen, you're kind of on a corner square. It'll kind of be a long way track around either way if you want to kind of walk around the block to get there, but you're kind of on the corner, but it is possible if you'd like to walk around the block.
Yeah, let's just take the scenic route. Around the block it is.
Alright, you kind of cut down your side path and kind of double back and start walking around the block, trying not to get in any, view sight of this thing. You start making your way around the block, you're on the final turn, and there's Homestead right down the way. But as soon as you turn the corner to make that final stretch home, you see another one leaning up against pretty much your neighboring building against Homestead. Doing the same pose, kind of just waiting.
Great. Have we installed a back door, like in a back alley anywhere?
Unfortunately, the the headquarters does not necessarily have a back door. It shares two of its sides, its quote quote back door and the right side of it with adjacent buildings, as you're literally on an intersection of the corner of the streets.
Hmm. All right.
So the front door is really your only access to actually get in from the ground floor.
I need to bring that up and try and fix that later. Okay. I guess I want to try and sneak my way past them. Is that possible?
There's a few people walking here and there down the streets. You believe you can possibly try and catch beside a person, so you don't make direct eye contact kind of deal. Go ahead and roll me a d20 for stealth to see if you can kind of sneak past this figure with somebody kind of in your way.
I got 17.
17, alright. You manage to catch a person with a large barrel on their shoulder walking about through the town, and you kind of hunker down and easily manage to slip by this thing. It doesn't even seem to react as you go by it. It just seems like it's waiting. You get past it, and you're just about 5 or 6 steps from your front door, your little porch area, but as you're still kind of side saddling by this guy with the barrel, you notice that there is another one of these investor things, like camping out underneath your awning, like right next to your front door, like it's in front of the doorbell, like waiting to get in.
Oh, great. So there's going to be no avoiding these people.
They seem to be everywhere.
Lovely. All right. Well, there's no point in sneaking around anymore. I just try and get back into my building.
Alright, you kind of try not to make eye contact with this thing, as it now, as far as its head movement, you believe this thing can obviously see you as you're starting to make up the 3 little steps in front of your door. It kind of just looks at you and kind of takes about a half step kind of in front of the door, not fully blocking your path, but kind of just like giving notice, like, hello, I'm here. And the figure kind of just stands there and says, oh, are you the proprietor of this building?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I'm with the Inspectors Guild here, and fumbly reaches into its pockets and pulls out some crumpled up paper that you don't even doesn't appear to have any markings. It's just crumpled up, and it says, I'm an inspector, and I would like to inspect the building."
This building has already been inspected.
"Do you have any proof of this?" The thing seems unsure of its own words.
You will need to double check with. I state the names of the 2 people who were here before from there, or at least the names they gave me.
Right.
2 individuals from your bureau have already been here. They were here just the other day. I suggest that you go back and double check with them.
The thing kind of just stands there, motionless, very unsure what its intent is, especially with this mask on its face, hiding whatever expression it may be having, if it were to have an expression. "Oh," the thing kind of says, deflated, and kind of scrambles to put this crumpled up piece of paper back in its pocket. As it does, you notice some feathers actually fall out of its pocket, kind of tumble on the ground by your feet. It doesn't seem to have noticed this. And it kind of just slowly kind of leans in. It gets a little bit closer to you and says, "Then is there a chance I can be invited as a friend?"
If I actually knew who you were, there was a small possibility. However, I do have things I need to take care of. So if you'll please excuse me, I need to get back into my building.
"Oh," the thing says with a very hollow tone. "Okay. Uh, we'll come back another time then. Have a good day, sir." The thing kind of takes its step back over to the corner of the little porch there. It just kind of stares off into space.
I want to try and swiftly collect the feathers, like make it look like I'm tying my boot or something.
Do you want to roll like a bluff or like a stealth? How would you like to do that?
Uh, Bluff.
Okay. Roll a d20 to try and swipe these while you pretend to lace up a boot or something.
14.
Alright, easily enough, you bend down to feign tying up your laces and easily swipe these little feathers. This investor doesn't even seem to have noticed you've moved at all. It's kind of just stared off into space like it's non-responsive.
I slip into the door and quickly close it and latch pretty much everything I can latch.
Alright, you easily slip inside the door and kind of lock it behind you. You have easily pocketed the feathers as well. You're back at home. There's a note on the table. Looks like possibly from Bartleby. It says, "Gone next door to Marion's. Be back late. Don't wait up."
Oh, yay. He must be, trying to concoct his own little potions there.
Um,
Potions being new ales.
as far as you were told, you were just told to expect to leave the next day, to which you have already packed up some, to-go gear, some supplies and such for a trip of an unsure number of days kind of deal, but no longer than a week you'd expect. But you weren't really given any further instructions other than be ready to leave. Um, you kind of just bide your time a little bit antsy, waiting for something to happen or some note to come to you or a message of some kind. Before too long, you get a knock on one of your little portal doors from the council.
Alright. Go up and open up the door.
You open up the door, and it's your good little halfling friend standing there.
Oh, joy, Lyle.
He doesn't really say much. He just pretty much, he's got a piece of paper in his hand. He's really reading over something like a document. He seems very busy. It's kind of a little out of the normal for him. He seems, normally when there's people around, he seems to be a little more sincere towards people, a little more involved, but he seems very intent in reading over whatever this is. He kind of just gives you a wave and kind of just waves you in the door like, come on, let's go.
Alright, I'm making sure I packed up everything, right? I'm carrying everything I need?
You easily grab your box, your bags, everything like you're going camping. You're all set to go.
Alright, and I step through the portal.
Step through the portal. You do not enter out into the council. You actually enter out into another little, looks like another portion of Stillwater near the coast, near the bay, like when you first entered through that magical door in the storefront. You first went to the council. You step out, the door magically disappears behind you. You are now on basically Stillwater's shipping bay. You can see right out over the Sea of Metro.
Mm-hmm.
Ships, sounds of the harbor fill the air as the bustling ship crew members and the people of the wharf go about their daily lives. You look about at a plethora of ships of different sizes and shapes and are kind of eager to see which one's yours. Lyle, still just standing there reading over that piece of paper, he uh, reads it over a little bit thoroughly like he's trying to finish it up. He goes, "Oh, okay. I believe this is all set to go. These are your papers here, and well, we wish you the best of luck. And if you have any problems at all, please don't feel free to feel free to let us know if you need anything." Lyle says.
Alright, I just want to, okay, Lyle, thank you very much. I do have one thing to report, though. There are these strange cloaked people in, like, happy face masks. They say they are inspectors. They have been stalking my building a lot, and just recently, one of them I encountered one of them, and they dropped a lot of these feathers. I pull out the feathers. I was wondering if you guys could look into it for me because they have the right paperwork, but the paperwork itself is exceptionally suspicious. It's like it wasn't signed properly last time.
Um, he instantly kind of gets a look of remembrance. Oh, yeah, yes. Your friend dropped by last time with those papers. They do seem very suspicious. They seem to be legit, but it's hard to tell with the signatures, of course. You have like 5 little feathers, and as you pull them out now, you actually can tell they're somewhat large, not like a writing feather, but they are of bird feathers, but they seem just a simple color black. They seem a little bit aged, kind of ratty and, you know, ripped a little bit, not just, new feathers. They look a little bit old and ruffled. And as you also pull them out of your pocket, they are uh, a dark black, but they also feel slightly sticky in your hands, like they've got a fine little residue of tar or pitch or something on there. You've got about 5 of them. How many do you hand Lyle?
Four. I'm gonna hold on to one.
Okay. He attempts to take these, trying to be as neat as he can, trying to hold them a little bit away from himself.
Right.
Just, we'll certainly run these by our animal experts and see if we can uh, identify if these are from any sort of creature we know, or anything particular that might have to be linked up with these uh, masked people. And we'll certainly send a few guards, a few patrol members out there to the headquarters to make sure no one's trying to break in or anything.
Okay. I appreciate that very much. Anything you can tell me about the ship I'm going to be going on?
Well, as you see, I don't really have much information. All I can see here is that they call themselves the Sky Warriors, and they're supposed to be portioned out from Ikit. And I was just reading over this paperwork here to make sure if I could find anything else out, and they're really not giving me anything.
Well, I guess that's all right. At least we're gonna get where we're going, I hope. But
Oh,
thank you very much.
one more thing, he adds. It doesn't really have the name of the ship on the papers anywhere. That was my concern, because I didn't want you getting lost, or jumping the wrong boat. But it says it says the big one. You can't miss it. That's all I have. But I want to stick around and make sure you get on the right ship. I don't want you hopping the wrong barge here.
All right, so it's the biggest one. Let's get looking, I suppose.
Go ahead and roll perception just to see if you can spot it just from where you're standing.
Alrighty. 19.
Yes, plain as day. About 4 or 5 ships down, there is a what looks like a very large bow that strikes out in front of everybody else, the largest of what you can see, and you can, from a look around, you believe that is your ship you're heading towards, the one that sticks out most upon the dock.
Sticks out like a sore thumb. It's probably that way.
Lyle kind of sees you over. Excuse me. He sees you over towards the ship, and sure enough, it's the biggest one here, and it's unmistakable. The largest classic ship. It looks, reminiscent of an actual pirate ship, but unmistakably the largest one here. And Lyle says, "Well, obviously this is your ticket here."
Yep, thank you very much, Lyle.
He kind of gives you a nervous nod as he does, and says, "Well, just here." He fumbles in his pockets and pulls out a small little communication rune, as you've seen him use before, and kind of just offers it to you and says, We just in case you need anything, in case something goes wrong or whatnot, we want you to make sure the members of the Adventurers Guild do stay safe in their adventures.
Or if you all need to get a hold of me.
Yes, we'll try not to interrupt, but yes, he says, holds
All
the
right.
rune out for you to take.
I gratefully accept.
With that, Lyle will respectfully give you a nod and begin to head back until he goes out of sight.
Okay.
The wharf is busy. The entire port area is just bustling with sailors and dock workers galore, just moving things back and forth. You're just the you just hear sounds of shouting captains and shouting sailors. Everyone's it's a busy scene in general. The ship in front of you is just very happily bobbing up and down in the dock. There's a single plank that kind of leads off of the main deck, just kind of down out onto the the street dock that you're on right now.
Mm-hmm.
You see a few people going on and off, kind of loading up some boxes and crates. There's a small pile of crates to the side, and you instantly see two people, a very butch man
Mm-hmm.
and a very pale, taller man, sitting here kind of conversing at the edge of the plank as so.
Alrighty. I would like to start heading over there.
Alright, at this point you are in full control and can move your token as you please.
I approach at least this far.
Alright. They seem to be kind of just in mid conversation, like they haven't even noticed you're here yet.
Okay. I need to figure out how to turn my character. There it is. Okay. I think.
Yeah, you got
There. Now I'm actually facing them.
it.
Alright, so I approach more and probably right about here. Just hello.
They kind of finish up like the last of their few sentences, but you feel like they know that you're there. Um, the strong man kind of just finishes up his thoughts and kind of just gives a good little look over towards you. It just kind of just stares you over a little bit. He doesn't really say anything. The pale guy you now know is not just pale, but he actually looks albino as his eyes are actually colored red.
Okay.
Um, the butch man seems to be wearing some classic clothing. He looks to be a little bit dingy, possibly a workman, a dockhand, or an engineer, or something like that. The albino man is in some pretty standard sailors sailors wear. Um, he seems to be the only other thing you can make off just by first appearances is that he does have a crossbow slung over his shoulder, and under his hat you can see the faint line of bandages. The albino figure kind of looks you over as the strong man did, and kind of says, "Oh, hello. Are you Scaithe?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh, great. Do you have any paperwork or anything? I don't really know how this goes."
Is the would I have a note from I've got a note. It says that where to find you guys. That's about as much paperwork as I've got.
Okay. Maybe the captain will. I don't know. I don't really think we need paperwork, but just it's different with each passenger. He says,
Okay.
"Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Hi." He held his hand out to properly give you an introduction, and at this point, I'm going to put him as a drawing so he can move a little more freely.
Okay. Well, I shake his hand.
He says, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Colgan Stanton. I will be your navigator for this endeavor.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put you as a drawing right now because we're not in combat or anything. We don't need exactly health.
Right.
He motions over to the strong man and he says, and this is our top engineer. This is Murdstone here. He's our top engineer for our voyage.
All right. I'm gonna. Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Kind of just gives you a nod. He really doesn't seem talkative. At which point he will actually turn around and go back on the ship. Stanton turns toward you. He says, don't, don't worry about him. He's actually really nice once you get to know him. But we're just finishing up here, and we'll be ready to shove off shortly. I think the captain would want to speak to you. I believe he's around here somewhere. He says, just uh, here. We'll find him. As he begins to make his way up into the ship.
I follow suit.
Followed down here to the main deck, where you enter on, right here.
Got to zoom out a little bit. Hold on. Without zooming out too much to see the rest of it. There. Okay.
When we're confined to a room, I will zoom in for the viewers as well.
So I'm guessing about here.
Keep going. Right next
Keep
to Stan.
going.
Right here, down towards Stan.
Down towards. Down.
You just came
Okay, I
over
see him.
from this side over here.
Okay.
And the plank comes off and right
Oh,
about so.
the plank is over that way. Okay, I got it.
Theatrics.
I got you.
Um,
I wish you could add character names to the actual figures.
what do you mean? You don't see
What?
a nameplate?
I see no nameplate.
Oh goodness, I have nameplates on my end here. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh no. Okay.
Let me see if I can fix that real quick. In-game. Actual.